Greetings. Brad Pitt versus Anderson Cooper. One is a multi-million-dollar actor. Another is a, I could say gay, TV host or news, podcaster guy, goes all around these countries, really, if you think about it, you've got one guy in a bunch of different movies, such as, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Everybody knows Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and he's going around. This whole elite status that you take on, I guess, when you're initiated and everything, into like the double-edged sword of the Matrix and being able to manifest. They want to say you can manifest your reality and everything, or the secret. Use the secret, the law of attraction and everything. I mean, really, that's no different than the difference between being an actor or being like a Hollywood actor, or a man or woman in the limelight of news, and that is being international affairs and everything like that. So you got a guy like for Anderson Cooper, for example, will be just dropped in an area where there's complete destruction going on, complete chaos going on and everything, and that's no different than the director saying action, with Brad Pitt, going around shooting and killing and dodging bullets and all this stuff, because that's really in reality what Anderson Cooper is doing when he is under, and they are surveilling me right now. I've lived in this parking lot for 5 minutes, and I'm already being watched. But again, I gotta be, as you gotta be, a fearless. That's really what we're out here to be. We're out here to be fearlesses. We don't want to be a part of these archons, and we don't want to be a part of these rich families. So we're going back on both the. We're not going back on either of the archons made up of the Vatican and the Holy Roman Empire, and truly all the confusion and everything that's amidst us, with 9/11 and all of these different things that were supposedly structured in commanded through the rich families such as the Rothschilds or the Red Shields, the Rothschilds. Pardon me, but no, I mean these are entities, that you can communicate with, whether it's through writing letters or looking at a documentary or something. I'm just saying, like, for heaven's sake, we have to be aware, that especially these actors and stuff, like you have a guy such as Leonardo DiCaprio, everything was veiled when he was going around, across seas, crossing national borders and going like touring internationally, basically. I don't even want to get into Brad, but I mean, this is just, what is Brad Pitt doing? Brad Pitt is coming out with these movies. I think he was in 12 Years a Slave. Brad Pitt was in 12 Years a Slave, at the very end, and he's just got a wholly different, he's got a holy character is what he really has. He's like a holy man. So yeah, I mean that like the lack of acting that they do in real life, they have to make up for in their movies, these Hollywood actors. So they go around and then they take on the holy man image or the holy woman image. So they have to go on and continue to kind of like bring an outreach, to the it's either an out, it's because they're not doing anything for us, obviously. So it's either it's like a veiled outreach for a scapegoat of what is actually going on with the destruction of humanity, which is being followed or being commanded rather through the rich families or the elites or the Rothschilds, and many other families that are aboard on this mission to destruct the world and everything. So that really should bring you a realization of the importance of getting out of the matrix, as you see it, as paying your bills, paying your phone, paying all your bills, and continuing a cycle of going back and forth with these big companies like Usha Village and everything. These are heavily coded companies that have persevered through decades and decades of coding, not just legal contract codes and everything, but the real truth of the matter is that there have been people who have worked extremely hard to get where they have an island of their own, and on continuing this talk, with Anderson Cooper, like people like this, they're extremely and like Reza Domahagian, for example, they're like extremely multi-talented individuals. They can read, they can write, they can draw. They're good with martial arts. Like, you don't know if Anderson Cooper, isn't like the real Mr. Smith. Like, you don't know that. You know what I mean? You don't know what's behind. But usually when somebody presents themselves with like a massive ego and they're gonna destroy the world, and they're Hades himself, or they've been casted down by God, to just destroy everything, that's usually a person hiding behind a veil, and that's usually an actor or an actress. So we have to continue this trial, for presumably the rest of our lives, and that's really coming down to it. What I think YouTube was implemented for, it was to implement a trust stature or value, so we could have like a true value currency, which would be the euro, and so that we could have true militarization, true world domination, what have you, through the National Alliance Treaty Organization, otherwise known as NATO. So yeah, this is Brad Pitt versus Anderson Cooper. My name is Sun Herbs Moon. I go by Sun Moon. Yeah, this parking lot really isn't that bad. It's only $20, $10 a day, so be a fearless, man. Be a fearless, and that just means, don't forget about your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't forget about the one, like, basically your MK Ultra handlers. All right, peace.